All right, I guess welcome to the podcast, guys. It's kind of weird to say, but we've
never thought we'd be doing this. This is one of those things that like you watch a lot of other people do, and suddenly it's like, you know what? We should do that ourselves. We can do a podcast. We can talk to each other. We're people that can talk to each other. Welcome to the Lighted Podcast, everyone. Let's see. So let's go and introduce ourselves here.
Wait, let me give some more backstory on the podcast, right?
Oh, right. Let's do
Yeah,
that.
so I mean, it'll kind of tie to like I guess our own like backstories, but yeah, we used to make like a lot of films, and we still do, but it's kind of hard, so we just wanted to keep making content. So this is a way for us to make content without physically being next to each other.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if it's very apparent, but we are in college, and we are at two very different colleges. I'm in UC San Diego. Which one are you going to? You're going to Santa Barbara?
Yeah, UCSB, yeah.
Yeah, UC Santa Barbara. Actually, kind of close. We could meet up, but it's like...
But like...
That's not going to happen in the school year.
Yeah, like to release content every week would be impossible.
Exactly.
Like, that's just like not going to happen. Yeah, so this way we can produce like pretty legitimate content. Even it's just audio, but I think it'd be entertaining.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So what we plan to have is like this episode's kind of like a pilot sort of episode. So we'll just be kind of quick and loose with it. But later on, we'll have more concrete topics, bring in guest speakers, and the whole shebang. So that'd be cool.
And a good old classic podcast formula. But
yeah. So go ahead, Daniel. Yeah, why don't you introduce yourself to me and everyone else listening?
All right, so I am Daniel. I am the really tall one. Actually, we're both pretty tall, but I'm slightly taller than Ashton. I am the taller one in our Alighted videos. I'm the one that's usually acting. And, let's see. What else should I say about myself that's a little more... Oh, yeah, also... Wait. Shit, fucking my mind just completely blanked right there.
Do you want to talk about, like, school or, like, Vidya?
Right.
Video games?
I absolutely goddamn love the video games. Like, for instance, Monster Hunter and Dark Souls and Hearthstone. And also, just playing random, fun, single-player adventure stuff like Bioshock, like The Last of Us, like Alan Wake. I can go on and on about the list. Point is, I play a crap ton of games.
Yeah, and also a lot of reading, right? A lot of fanfic, a lot of Reddit.
Hell yeah. Though nowadays I would say it's more of the Reddit, because the fan fiction stuff, that was in high school. Nowadays it's kind of like, okay, that's died down. I definitely enjoy reading it still, but I haven't really got myself engrossed in a good story in quite a long time, because for whatever reason, like whenever I'm consuming content, it has to be like I set aside the entire fucking day. I have to get myself super immersed, super engrossed in it, so I will like shut off my phone, like turn out all the lights, close the door, just get myself super immersed in that world. And when I'm in school, I don't know why, I just it's hard for me to get into things. So
I mean, first of all, you have a roommate, right? And it's just the environment's like louder. It's
exactly, yeah.
Concentrated.
It's real different from when I'm just back at home, just in my room, and just being like, yeah, let's get immersed into the world of Alan Wake, yeah.
Yeah, I think like an important thing about Daniel that I think he told me in like high school, that he read a lot of philosophy books as like a middle schooler, or was it like younger?
Basically, yeah, because
yeah,
essentially what happened here, and this is like really funny, I basically had a superiority complex for a while. I think I still do, actually. And as a kid, I would just be like, y'all motherfuckers are retarded. And like my dad would always be like trying to get me to read all this shit that like a 9-year-old or 10-year-old probably shouldn't be reading. And of course, as someone who had access to the internet at that time, I would get really curious about the shit and be like, whoa, look at all these really smart people that I'm reading. Like, I'm reading about smart people shit. I must be better than everyone. Essentially what happened is like, I would go on these crazy fucking like Wikipedia binges of just like random philosophers. Yes. And to this day, I don't even remember a lot of their names. I just remember mostly the concepts. So like, imagine like a 10-year-old reading about nihilism or something, and I'd just be like, whoa. When I think about it, everything I do doesn't even fucking matter. Whoa! That blew my mind as a kid. Like, 10-year-old me was like, damn, philosophy's like lit.
Dang, yeah. Dude, the internet is dangerous, honestly. The things you can go, the places you'll see as a 10-year-old. Oh gosh.
Also, Did I tell you about Mr. Carney, my middle school 7th grade English and history teacher?
You told me a bit about him, something about like his like teaching philosophy, right?
Yeah, he basically like kind of just reignited that philosophy whole shebang again. Because during class, this guy is a fucking weirdo. I love him though, because like, who the hell is like a middle-aged guy just in a middle school class trying to inspire students by telling them like all these crazy ass fucking stories and just like trying to get everyone to be all like philosophical, deep thinkers and whatnot. Like, it's really bizarre. Like, I remember a lot of like my classmates were just being like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy? He's just like a weirdo. He's just like some guy like just saying a bunch of nonsense to kids." And I was just like, well, if you want to like, fucking minimize his efforts like that, like sure, but if you really get into it, it's like that got me thinking about all sorts of trains of thought like when I was really really young. I'm not sure if those helped me in the long run though, because what ends up happening is I end up like doubting and questioning everything and just being like fuck everything at a really early age. But nonetheless, it's fun to think about. So
like, what's an example of something he'd say?
All right, so
I never had him.
Okay, he was really big friends with shit. Who was that like 8th grade history teacher that like everyone was saying like that guy was like awesome too? Oh shit, I don't remember his name.
It's not Carney. It's like I know what you're talking about, but keep going, because no one will know who.
I don't remember this guy's name, but Mr. Carney was really big friends with this 8th grade history teacher who would also talk about weird shit and like constantly play movies in class and just basically just talk about things that weren't really relevant to course material. And I remember all the time, I was lucky enough to have Mr. Carney in like my 3rd and 4th periods, which were the off periods for the other guy. Is his name Mr. DeLong? I don't remember.
Yeah, DeLong. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, yeah. So Mr. DeLong, because he didn't have anything 3rd and 4th period, instead of grading papers or doing something responsible, he would just walk across the class, or not the class, the campus, into our class, randomly show up and be like, "Hey guys, what's up? I'm Mr. DeLong. Hopefully you have me next year, haha." And then he would just like interrupt whatever the fuck Mr. Carney was talking about, and they would just stand there in front of like the classroom, just talking about like just really random just stories, or just be talking about like the like latest thing they were reading, or just whatever was like on their fucking minds, basically. Like I remember something that really stood out to me was like Mr. Carney was talking about like one of his favorite movies was called Life is Beautiful. Have you ever heard of this movie?
It's really old, right?
It's really old, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But essentially the premise is there's a family of Jews.
Italian, right?
Yeah, Italian Jews.
Okay.
And yeah, they're just being whisked away into a concentration camp because it's fucked up World War II times. And essentially the dad and this kid like are put together because they're put in like to the male section, and then the wife is like taken away somewhere. Right. And like throughout the movie, it's just like them in this concentration camp. It's clearly really fucked up, like just like some slave shit going on in there. And all the while, the dad, who's like the most optimistic motherfucker, like I hope to God someday I am as positive as this guy. Like he's the most wholesome guy, okay? Like we're talking like fucking Bob Ross levels of wholesome here, okay? He somehow convinces his kid that the concentration camp isn't like the fucked up situation that it is, but rather just like a vacation. That's like just like some fun like getaway that they're going to. And that at the end of it, like if they like, there's like a whole game to it. So you have to like follow all the rules out of like all the staff are saying to you. You have to like follow all the instructions, like play along with their games, which are really just, like telling people to shut the fuck up and like, stand in line and stuff, right?
Like, yeah.
And he was like, and at the end, the winner gets a tank. And this kid fucking loves tanks. I don't know why. He's like, "Oh my god, we're gonna win a tank!" And he's like, "Yeah, but you have to be quiet. No saying Italian. All right, you have to learn the German like they're teaching you. All right, you have to like just do everything they're saying. All right, just don't fall out of line. You have to do everything exactly the same." And the kid's like, "Yeah, okay. All right."
Yeah.
And like throughout the movie, it's like always like these times where like it's looks like something really bad's gonna happen, like as in like, oh, the kid's gonna get caught, or like just fucking something bad's gonna happen to dad, and he like always manages to find a way to like reframe it into like it's still just a fun time. Like I remember there's this like one scene where your dad he's just like walking around this one building, like I think he was just like serving like tea and food or whatever the hell to like some of the German officers. And at this point in the movie, like whatchamacallit, all the other like Jew kids, they'd been gassed already, except for his kid. And the reason why is because there was like one time he randomly didn't follow instructions because they were like, "Oh, hey kids, time to go to the shower," and he just hid because he didn't like showers. You can probably tell where that's going. So to make sure that like it wasn't fishy that there's some fucking kid running amok, like the dad somehow like convinces like the people who were teaching like the German kids there that he was also a German kid, and like he just pushes him along to the the rest of the German like kids to just like pretend to be German, I guess. And he just told him just like be quiet all the time. He was like, if you win this game, like you don't say a word, all right? We're for sure gonna get that tank, right? And so I remember so while the dad was like feeding like the officers or whatever, they're like the kids are already playing some like German game of some shit, right? And then his kid accidentally says some like words in Italian or something, and he's like, oh, and like everyone's all looking and being like, what the fuck, right? And it looks really bad because it's like, whoa, like okay, it's like a bunch of people staring at this kid who said some shit in Italian, right? And so like the officer was like, who was overseeing this, goes and leaves the room because I guess he's about to tell someone's like, yo, there's a fucking not German kid here. And so the dad takes the opportunity to go into the room, and he starts teaching all the other kids Italian. He's like being really happy about it. I was like, yeah, like fucking saying like random Italian words and like dancing around and shit. Like all the kids like super get into it, right? And like the fucking officers get back, they're just like, oh, this fucking dumbass, get him out of here. Like, so that's how he saved the situation there. Yeah, there's like tons of situations just like that come up when a dad is just like super creative and just finds a way to just save his son's ass.
Okay, all right. Wow, that was a huge film tangent. I wasn't expecting that to happen.
But yeah, Mr. Khan would go on things like this. He would go on tangents like that. He would be like, yo, this is why I fucking love this shit, right? And I remember I was the only kid in that class who saw Life is Beautiful because my dad was fucking showing it to me. He was like, Daniel, you're gonna have to watch this fucking crazy ass movie, all right? It'll make you think deep about shit. And I was just like, okay, Dad. I didn't really quite grasp a lot of things in it actually back then, but after Mr. Khan talked about it, I was just like, whoa, Mr. Connie, I like your taste. And he was like, I like your taste too. See, guys, Daniel knows what's up. I'm like, hell yeah, I know what's up.
Yeah, teacher appreciation, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fun class.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about that movie. Like,
watch it.
I haven't watched it, but it's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
Life is beautiful. Yeah, dude. Everything's about perspective, right?
Very much. That's how you frame it.
Yeah. Fun is a mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So going off that, is there anything else you'd like to share with everyone about yourself?
Damn, it's hard being put on the spot like that, man. Like, okay, how about this? I'm just gonna ask you some questions, and you just
sure. Yeah, why not?
Like, honestly, I fucking blank when I'm just like, if someone tell me about yourself, I'm like, shit, where do I even start? It's like,
yeah, oh, this is my social security number. My name is this.
All right, so how about what prompted your interest in cameras and filming and all the shenanigans that end up getting us to start all this stuff in the first place?
Holy moly, what a loaded question. Okay, I gotta go deep in my childhood for this, huh?
I mean, you might have a story for this. Go ahead and tell it, right?
Yeah, you probably don't even know about this, huh? I mean, I've always been like a pretty like gadget-oriented guy, and I like to be like really hands-on. Like as a kid, I did a lot of Legos. So I remember in my parents' room, there's like this drawer full of cameras. It was like really cool. And then like my parents didn't really know like how to use them, so they'd always ask me to like learn and then like kind of like teach them. It's kind of weird, right? I'm like a kid, right? Like an elementary school kid. And like my dad's like a freaking he has a degree in engineering from UCSD. What?
That's right.
Right? Anyways, so I'm like reading the instruction manuals, and then I'm like just kind of like playing around with it, teaching them. So that was kind of mostly for like, I guess like family events, right? Like vacations, whatnot. And I think around middle school, there probably was some school project that prompted me to like make a video. And I realized it was really cool. So
wait, is this like the start of like when we had those middle school, like you made that one website and like
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I used like one of those website makers.
And that was started off of a school project? Huh, okay.
It was inspired by a school project, I think.
Yeah, but it's like for context for what we're talking about, essentially Ashton went and made this website, which I don't even remember the name of anymore. But essentially
Right on.
Right?
It's
Wait, what?
literally called like Ride On Productions. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Right On Productions was basically like a tiny Facebook for us and friends to just talk about making just whatever the hell it is that we were making back then.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure I was by far the most invested. We would have our friend Steven, who's in a lot of our videos. He's like the kind of more Hispanic looking one. But yeah, he was like my main actor guy. And we would have videos where I would just like follow him around with a tripod. And he would just like, I was like, okay, do something. And then I would just film him like doing just dumb stuff. He'd like run up to the camera and be like, hi guys, my name's like this. And he'd like make up a character. It's really fun. And I got a lot of like support from my mom and his mom. So I was like, wow, this is cool. That went on for a while. And then it kind of fell off in high school, right? And then during junior year of my high school, I took a multimedia class. And I was like, you know, this is a project for a video and I'm going to make it really good. So I decided to make it really, really good. And that's how I met Bender, which is one of our mutual friends.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, dude, this is so fun. Like, I don't know if I could do this as a job, but I might as well pursue it. Then I found this song called Tristam by Tristam, my friend. And I was like, I would walk to and from school every day. So I'd always think about like songs and like imagining stuff. And I had a good idea. So I sat down Daniel after playing board games. I'm like, dude, let's do this. I don't know what was going through your head. It was really spontaneous, right?
I don't even remember what was going through my head either. I think it was just because, like, damn, dude, I want to do, like, some acting shit or just, like, stuff on camera. Because people always told me, is like, dude, you just straight up look like a fucking actor from China. And you got, like, the voice, and you're tall. You should do something about that. Yeah. Go play basketball. I'm like, well, I don't play basketball. It's like, well, be a movie star then. I'm screwed. Well, I don't know about that either. There's a lot of luck involved.
Yeah, whole Hollywood thing. Ooh, it's crazy. But yeah, I think we just had one camera. It was just me and Daniel. We'd walk around the creek and we're like, okay, let's do this scene. And to this day, that was literally like beginner's luck. I feel like that video was the epitome of a beginner's luck. Because it ended up being like a lot better than I think our skills were at the time. Like that's like our most viewed video.
It's also the only one I've, like, posted on Reddit. So.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. But that was crazy. And then we got, like, we got Emily to be the girl, and that was fun. And, like, we're just, like, going on wild adventure, right? It's like, dude, we're making, like, blood in the driveway. like, playing around with knives, but, like, this is a real knife, so it's kind of scary. But it kind of adds to, like, the thrill, right? So, every time, like, I'm brainstorming or, like, filming on set, it's just a wild adventure. I told Daniel a while ago that it gives me like a ton of adrenaline to just be on set.
I feel it. I'm definitely very what's the word for it? Like, I wouldn't say like pure enthusiasm, because like I feel like I'm also kind of what's like maybe it's more psychotic. I don't fucking know, dude. Like it's not like just like I'm like a happy-go-lucky guy. I just act like a fucking crazy person, and somehow that's just like. Just rubs off on people, and everyone's like, damn, this guy's fucking weird, let's hang out with him more.
Yeah, I mean, to this day, there's not really anyone like you. But I could say that about me too, so I don't know. You could say that about a lot of things, but
I look at us tooting our own horns here. I look at us, we're so much better than everyone else. Yeah,
we're so cool, man. Anyone looks roly like me, man. Yeah, I think that basically wraps up your question. Oh, yeah, I mean, with the advent of YouTube, there's a lot of like resources for just learning and inspiration. So that definitely like spiraled me to keep going. Mm-hmm. And I got a lot of like side odd jobs in high school to pay for gear. So I just accumulated gear, and now we just have it.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, because I feel like that's like one of the biggest barriers to entry, besides getting like a legitimate crew. Because it's really hard to make something just by yourself that's not like a documentary.
One man can only have two arms and so much time.
That's true, yeah. One man cannot be in front of the camera and behind the camera at the same time, right? Yeah.
Can you imagine though, like some guy just like fucking filming all that shit and just like if someone made like a super legit movie with like multiple characters, and he has to do so much fucking just backs and forths and like
Yeah.
solo timers and whatever, and he's like talking to himself all the time because he's playing all the characters.
It's like he has like a remote for like it has like a moving gimbal or something, and he just sets it stationary, but it's like panning, and he just has that like behind his back while he's acting. It's like cool. But then you have to like act with yourself, right? So you just like create scenes where like you'd be one character and you also be like the villain. It's kind of weird.
You know about Austin Powers?
Yeah, Austin Powers.
Yeah, so like I remember for the longest time I didn't know that Dr. Evil and Austin Powers are the same actor.
Oh yeah, I didn't know either as a kid.
It's like really weird to think about because it's like, wait, holy shit, yeah, they've never been like really together like on screen at the same time before.
Yeah, and like if you look, but like, if you can imagine like the guy with hair, then it kind of like comes together. Because Dr. Evil's bald, right?
Yeah. Oh my god, I need to rewatch Austin Powers because I went in and watched like the Austin Power movies with my friends when I was in middle school, and I don't remember much of what happened aside from like all the like shadow scenes and the memes with like Dr. Evil being like $1 million.
Yeah, that's like the most memorable meme. Like you always say like shag. It's so dumb.
Oh, good times.
All right, yeah. Let's back on topic. So you're in college right now.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your major, Daniel?
Yeah, right. We're still introducing ourselves. So I am majoring in communications because apparently I'm good at talking to people, and I also like learning about how people talk to each other, and also like I'm just really shit at fucking just math and sciences and memorizing stuff. Communication has a lot of talking, a lot of writing papers, a lot of reading. Way more down with that.
Okay.
Yeah. That's basically my thought process behind it. I don't actually like, as fucked up as this is, I don't like put too much thought into school because to me it's kind of just like, oh, I just gotta do it. It's like kind of like a grindy thing. Like I've never really been inspired by school, if that makes sense. I think I blame all the philosophy in Mr. Carney.
Necessary evil, perhaps.
Yeah, necessary evil, basically.
I mean, I remember. I think I read either my friend told me, or my friend told me, or I read it somewhere where like there's a difference between being instructed and learned, right? Or instructed versus like educated. I think it was trying to point towards like education is something more wisdom based, while instructed is just like reading from a book.
Yeah, I mean, I'd buy that because I remember whatchamacallit, I saw these YouTube videos where they would test kids like a year later, like they would give them the exact same fucking final or whatever for a class that they just took, and pretty much every time, like the majority, and I'm talking like 80% or whatever,
Yeah.
would just bomb the thing. It would be like a fucking F or below.
Yeah, I mean people don't remember, right?
Exactly. So then it makes you think
Yeah.
like, what the fuck was the point of all that?
I mean, the important takeaways from school are just like, okay, the ability to sit still, right? Be responsible.
Yeah.
Write, read, and follow schedules. And then like the most important thing is like learning how to learn. And like social skills,
I
right?
can agree with that, yeah.
Yeah. But like by the time you finish high school, you could potentially have those already. I mean, obviously not everyone's gonna have it, but some people just have it. But then our society's like, dude, everyone needs to go to college. So then gotta go to college.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Funny story,
really
like when it comes like the going to college thing, like I like was so like not giving a shit about like doing any research on this aside from just like rankings that like when I was transferring over from here, essentially what I did, like because I'm from a community college, but then I transferred over to UC San Diego, and like I would just want to apply to a bunch of just UCs, and the ones that got back to me, there's like a big list of them, but I remember like I was going through the list, I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna go to either UC Santa Barbara, which is where Ashton goes, or San Diego. I also have just like, well, I didn't do any research into culture or anything like that, or like any shit, just aside from rankings. I was like, okay, UC San Diego is just higher, so I'm just gonna just fucking go there, fuck it. Like, that's how much of like I don't really like care that much, like in terms of like just give you an understanding. Like, even though I should have done my research, because when I come over here, it's like, oh, I did not know about the whole meme where everyone's calling this place UC socially dead. It's very,
dude, that's pretty big.
yeah, it's pretty true.
It's pretty pertinent, yeah.
kind of came in here being like, hey guys, it's fucking hang out and shit and do stuff. And everyone's like, nah, studying, bro.
Yeah. Oh man, all right. Consequences.
Well,
but there is like some benefit to that, right? Because I feel some people, they just think about it way too much, and at the end of the day, it's just like you're spending too much time on something.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and you're causing yourself like unneeded stress.
Losing sleep and shit. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not about that life. I want to live long and prosper. If I fucking see people with like white hairs and shit, I'm just like, oh my god, that is terrifying.
Yeah, there's like people balding, man. It's like, Jesus Christ. Someone's been drinking too much.
Drinking and studying.
Oh man, okay, this is a weird podcast. All right, so here, let's take turns asking each other questions, I guess.
Are we still just doing this on an introduction basis, or are we just gonna talk about just like random
Do
shit?
you feel like it's satisfactory?
I feel like it's never really gonna be satisfactory because like there's so much about ourselves we could talk about that
Yeah.
like when you introduce yourself on something like a podcast where you have like a lot of time basically just like talk about whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like even with all this time, I still wouldn't be able to cover like even like a small fraction, like maybe like 1/10 of like a lot of stories that kind of, I guess, make up the basis of who I am.
That's
right?
true.
Also,
Yeah.
I think this is like something cool about us because like we're two people. I'm pretty sure we've done like a lot of different shit. Like
Yeah, exactly.
we
That's
have
one
like
of
a
the
lot of
reasons
experiences,
why.
and, like things to talk about in general.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to make the podcast, because I'm like, dude, we both have like some pretty sick experiences, but they're not exactly like overlapping, right? Because like if there's a show with like two Daniels or two Ashtons, it'd be like, nah. But this is cool because we can kind of like, you know, connect.
Oh, yeah, connect to. Yeah.
Yeah. Connect, Anakin.
Wait, what? I didn't even know what you just said, but okay.
All right,
We're doing dumb voices.
No more.
Wait, shit, what were
Yeah,
we
I
even
mean,
talking
also like it kind of gets to that level where our viewers can't even see us, so there would be that part of that ground that's never really breached.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, physically spending time with someone, you're gonna learn a lot more than like Skyping with them.
Because you also get like a lot more of just what's the word I'm looking for? Because like when you like read people's body language or mannerisms and all that,
Yeah.
it changes your impressions like of their words. Like literally what they say can be like completely fucking different based on like okay, like if I'm saying this right now, you don't see my face, but if I was like turned around and fucking like twerking or some shit while just like talking super just calmly like this, like in person, you would be like, what the fuck, right? But like
Yeah.
behind the mic, you have no idea. You don't even know what I'm doing. Like my hands could be in my pants right now. Ashton doesn't even know if my hands are in my pants right now. Fucking like
Exactly. You could be wearing no pants, and I wouldn't have no idea.
like it paints completely different fucking images, and that's some fascinating shit.
Yeah. I mean, you could have like your roommate like naked and like have like a dog collar on him, like whipping him underneath the table. I would not know. Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but also,
No, but that's like
it
a
is
hilarious
good.
image though, because like if you imagine that, it immediately ruins anything that I'm
Exactly.
saying right now.
Yeah. There's like no legitimacy to what you're saying if that was the truth, which I mean I hope not. I can't tell, but I hope not. You just have to take Daniel's word for it. Yeah. The cool thing about like talking though is that you can kind of guess, right, how they are feeling because inflection. So like if you're talking to someone on the phone, you can have a good idea whether or not they're smiling or not, right? Kind of based off inflection.
I never really thought about it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like why calling is better than email. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but yeah.
Or maybe I'm just really shitty at inflection because I feel like when I'm talking to people, it's just like I just cannot fucking like read people or assume things over the phone. I don't know why. It's over the phone. It's just I need to be looking at people and just like looking just like into their souls and just being like, yeah, I understand, you know, what's up. But like even just over the phone, like it's for some reason like okay, I can tell like if you're being enthusiastic or happy or sad or whatever. Like the really obvious shit, it's like okay, but when it comes to like I guess a little more nuanced shit, all right. Like if someone's like, as an example, if you're talking about like some fucking bad experience you had at work, all right, but you're not explicitly fucking angry about it, right? You're talking about something like, oh man, like just just some shit's happening, whatever, right? Like, I'm just gonna kind of assume you didn't really actually give that much of a shit about it. It's just kind of like a thing to happen, even though you could be like really ticked about it. Because you like, if I'm hearing you talk about that, I need you to be saying like, man, this was a fucking shitty thing that just happened to me. I'm pissed off right now. Like, I just maybe I'm just thick skulled. I don't know. Like, I feel like even with phone talks, it's like, I just can't.
There is a lot of information that you could just get from like looking at someone's eyes too. So yeah.
Eyes are the window of the soul. Wait, what was the
soul.
quote? Something about eyes and a window and then the soul.
The eyes are the window to the soul. I don't know. Yeah, it's like when someone wears sunglasses, you're like, wow, they're so mysterious, right?
Ugh.
Yeah, it's like cops wearing sunglasses is really scary.
I feel like cops in general are just scary. At least living in
America. They kind
America.
of have that rep in America. Yeah.
You look at a goddamn cop. He's like, is he just gonna randomly just ticket me for no reason? Is he gonna just like start some shit? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, is he gonna like start searching my car? Right? Yeah. Yeah. So going back to what we were saying before, I guess more information can get garnered for us by just watching a lot. I guess listening a lot. I don't really have like, I don't want it to be like an interview, right? I feel like it's kind of weird. I could say buzzwords. That's what people normally do for podcasts. It's like, yeah, this is Daniel Shi. He's a junior at UCSD, pursuing a communications major. His hobbies are writing, reading, video games, filmmaking, music.
Parkour,
parkour.
Writing fan fiction, editing just weird YouTube videos, just hanging out with people, partying, just fencing, just fucking. Actually, the list kind of goes on for a while.
Yeah, it's because like neither one of us are like explicitly like experts, right? So we can't be like, oh yeah, he wrote a book on this, so let's have him talk about that, right? We're just like, there's two guys, so I don't have many crazy buzzwords.
Also, I feel like it's easier to label yourself with those buzzwords if you're a lot more like focused and narrow. Like, if you're like as broad as like a guy who's done like, I don't know, fucking he's like double majoring and shit, has worked like a bunch of different jobs in like completely different industries, and then has like these interests that have like nothing to fucking do with each other. Like, how do you properly encompass that? Like in the format of like quick resume 30-minute interview, right? There's no way you can cover all that shit. It's kind of like when I was talking about the beginning of this podcast, like, hey, like if I'm introducing myself, like there's a lot of things I could talk about. Where the hell do I even start, right?
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because that's literally describes me.
I think that describes a lot of people, actually.
Yeah. So, yeah, okay, fair enough. Because, I mean, if we're talking about it from like a host perspective, because we're co-hosting the show, I mean, it just go on and on.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's a conversation that's just like, I don't know, it's kind of like the thing like that everyone kind of is aware of and knows, but it's not really the thing you like talk about, I guess. There's like a lot of things like that in life. Everyone kind of has like this idea of something that's, kind of exists, right? Like kind of like, social stigmas or whatever, but it's like never really explicitly talked about.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why people just fucking like talking to me, is I feel like I'm pretty sure what I'm talking about here when like I say I usually just like talk about myself or just some random interesting thing, and then suddenly it starts a conversation about whatever the fuck, and then everyone's like super into it. Like, and a lot of people I've come to like talk with kind of just call this like real talk or something along those lines, all like fucking like deep shit or real talk. But apparently I just do that spontaneously all the fucking time.
Well,
and that's something that's like,
having like the like characteristic or like ability to be open just about like things in general is really, really useful, and a lot of people don't really have that. So
a lot of people are not as transparent as I thought. Apparently I'm just a guy who just likes talking about myself and just starts up conversations about weird shit, because typically when I am talking about something, I'm also like doing this weird thing where it's like, okay, I'll be analyzing it in some facet, like in one of those ways I'm talking about earlier, like where it's like, oh, I'm bringing up some shit that like I'm just kind of aware of, but you don't really explicitly say. And that like immediately makes whatever I'm talking about like more thoughtful and just like seems more, I don't know what's what I'm looking for. Just insightful, smart. Just
it's worth listening to, right? Yeah, it's worth listening to. Yeah, I remember in middle school, I was like reading a lot of manga, and I was like, wow, dude, I gotta be mysterious, like all those like manga characters. But as I grew older, it's like, there's not really any benefit for being mysterious. It's not gonna get you anywhere. This like real life is not a manga.
If anything, I feel
Yeah.
like by being this open, people still think I'm the most mysterious motherfucker because like everyone's like, "How do you not run out of stories?" I'm just like, "Ooh, because I'm an."
I mean, that's true. Yeah. If you're talking about things and it's like interesting, and I guess we're both pretty multifaceted people, then it is more interesting. But I guess for a lot of people, that might not necessarily be the case, right?
Well, yeah, because I imagine for most people,
Yeah.
it's just like you kind of just
Just
do
have, like,
things
dogs.
one way and then you just keep
Yeah.
doing it. Like
Yeah, then you just have like structure you follow, right?
even when people think about like, oh, like fucking, I got like fucking, I don't know, what's an example of like some generic shit you'd be doing in high school that like leads to like something that you'd be doing in college, like as in like, oh, like this is my life story. I've always been interested in engineering ever since I worked with like Lego robotics, and now I'm gonna go become a mechanical engineer in college or whatever, right? Like I think
Yeah.
part of the reason why that's like so uninteresting, and why I wouldn't call it interviewers and guys who go through resumes just kind of scoff at that, is because it's like it's such a, I guess, cookie cutter like thing. It's like, oh yeah, this guy, when he was fucking 7, he played with Legos. Now he's a mechanical engineer, or he's interested in becoming a mechanical engineer. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not very like innovative, interesting. I don't know. It's just like, it kind of just feels like some bullshit, even though it's like not really. Like if that's genuinely what you did, it's like, yeah, like that's what you did. But for some reason, that just doesn't feel impressive or interesting. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Okay. It's like it's too linear, right? It's way too. It's too easy.
Actually, I think
don't-
part of the
people-
reason why is because
Yeah.
it's chronological. Which, as bizarre as that sounds, like we're used to things making sense, as in like, oh, there's like a progression here, right? There's a time flow
Yeah.
where essentially it's like, oh, like you started here, which led to this, which then led to that. Like it makes sense. So then if you're reading the cover letter or whatever statement about yourself on these things,
Mhm.
and like it starts off with that, and then in like the second part it starts talking about high school, you can probably reasonably assume like, okay, the last part of it is going to talk about the college experience now. Like it just
Oh, okay.
it doesn't really it does build itself up, but it's predictable. It's like when you fucking like watch too much superhero movies and now you're just bored of Marvel shit, because it's just like, god damn it, this is just fucking junk food movies, and like I know how exactly it's
sense.
gonna fucking end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas-
It's like, how do I put it? It's like when it's like that cookie cutter.
Cutter. I'm
When it's
gonna
that-
cook your cookies,
yeah.
boy.
When it's that cookie cutter, right? You got to be like really, really good to stand out, right? Or else they're all kind of the same.
Dude, I never
be, like,
thought I'd hear the
insanely
word
good.
"cuck" come out of your mouth. I'm sorry.
Cookie cutter.
Ashton's very, very fucking straight edge, guys. In case you have not been made very clear of that by the way we're talking.
I'm all right.
It's hilarious, dude. I love it, dude. You be you.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's like I feel like normality can be boring when digested in those amounts, right? It's like when you talk to someone, like if you just say like, if you're like, or let's use like an example, like you're hitting on a girl, right? Like if you just like start talking to her, as opposed to like if you use like a, not necessarily like perverted, I guess, but like a clever pickup line, it's gonna get her interest. Like, break down barriers, start laughing, right? That sort of thing.
That's it. That's it
Yeah.
at like the most basic level, yeah.
It's like the best reaction is like when like you say something to someone and they're like it's so out of the ordinary, like they don't know what to do except like laugh, right? And like that feels good.
Yeah, I remember when I was like in
Yeah.
acting classes, the teachers
Yeah.
would always just be like, "Yo, just be weird, just do things." Like when you're on camera, people want to see like a character, want to see someone doing shit. They don't want to see someone just, doing normal shit, because that's
Yeah,
what everyone already
that's
does, and then that's
No one,
boring.
no one wants to see Joe down the street just thrust in a video, right?
Just what, a video?
Thrust in a video. It's just like you don't want just like a normal
Oh,
guy. to be in
thrust
video.
into a video. Oh,
Yeah, thrust.
Okay. I thought you said something completely different. That was like.
All right. Anyway. Wow. Oh goodness gracious. Ugh. Whew.
But yeah,
man.
point is, when you're talking about things, or when you talk about yourself, actually, not things. When you're talking about yourself in a manner that just like is formulaic and just is just some generic ass shit, people are just gonna be like, okay, dude. But when you're like telling some crazy ass fucking story about yourself that you don't even know like how the timeline here fits together, you just know that it happened, and you're like doing it with this bombastic enthusiasm, and it's also genuinely just like a weird story, people are gonna be like, what the fuck's up with this guy? You know?
Yeah. Dude, enthusiasm can get you really far in life.
Yeah, honestly, dude, fucking, I remember I used to be so scared of like talking to people all the time when I was like in high school, and then I remember just reading about some shit, just being like, just fake it till you make it. And then I got into acting, I was like, oh, it's just, yeah, you just fake it till you make it. And I'm just like genuinely enthusiastic, when back then I was just like, hey guys, look at me, I'm fucking retarded, haha, I'm so funny because I'm so random, ha. And now I'm like, okay, I've evolved beyond that kind of humor, but I'd like to think I'm still spontaneous enough to do some shit that could come off as random, but isn't actually just like stupid random shit for the sake of like random shit. Like, I don't like, just scream out like, oh, you pineapple banana. When like back then, that would literally be what I'd do. I'd like, just like, it'd be like a fucking dead silent room. And I was just like, fuck, like I just say, I gotta be funny right now. This is too awkward. So I would just yell out something like fucking retarded. Like, like, bananas! And everyone's like, dude, what? I've now learned that that's not how you instigate a good conversation. Because, like, what the fuck are they supposed to say? Like, if you're sitting in a room and some, like, dumbass in the corner just, like, stands up and just yells something just not obscene, just, stupid. Like, how do you respond? You're kind of just like, okay, dude, like... Sure.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't start conversation. I mean, they could laugh, right? Which is good, but it's not starting anything.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of people, like, they don't know how to respond. It's just like, whoa, this is so weird. I'm just going to laugh and, like, keep going.
I think what really made me aware of that, though, is because, like, I didn't quite realize that until straight up, there was a guy who just said, what do I even say to that? And I kind of realized, wait, that's what's going through their minds right now. I should stop doing this.
Okay. All right, I got it. So if you do that, then the best thing they can do is basically do the same thing, right? So but like no one's gonna do that, right? No one's also gonna like jump on a table and be like bananas, cream cheese, pineapples. Like no one's gonna say that. Like, people are just gonna like look at you and be like, oh, okay, that's interesting, and they just like keep doing their thing. Okay, yeah. Come to think about it, I think you were a lot more random back then.
Yeah, nowadays if I want to start some shit up, like literally I'll just start talking about whatever the fuck, and I just don't care. And that seems to work just as well, because it's pretty spontaneous if you just talk about like whatever and you get really into it. Like that still has like the same effect of like drawing the attention, but it actually has substance rather than just nonsense.
Yeah, okay. It's like if like someone asks me like, oh, like how you doing, I'll give them like an actual answer. Instead of being like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, it's really funny. People freak out about that here in America. Like, if
it's just because it's muscle memory, right? It's like, oh yeah, I'm good. How are you? Yeah, I'm good. How are you? Yeah, I'm good. How are you? Right?
Yeah, because how are you is a fucking greeting here, which I think is retarded. But like, I love the shit on that because people say, how are you? And I'd be like, dude, I'm doing fucking awful, man. Like, god damn it, dude. Like, my fucking wife just dumped me. Like, my job, like, I got fired from that shit. I like say this dumb nonsense. Like, this obviously none of this is true. But like, I like to say like the most insane shit.
Genius. That's pretty funny.
Okay, assuming it's someone I don't know.
Throw people off.
Yeah, it's assuming it is someone I don't know, though. I only do that to someone I don't know. It's really funny.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's also interesting to think of, like, a greeting as, like, what's up, right?
Yeah.
Because people are just like, that's hi now. But in essence, it's a question.
Yeah.
What's up? Yeah.
Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think any of my friends, like, just say, how you doing? They're just like, hey, let's go do this cool thing. I'm like, hell yeah, then we go do a cool thing. Like, I'm gonna think about, I can't think of an instance where my friends are just like, how you doing?
Or it could be, I've heard it, like, in a, like, a joking matter, but like, it's such a cookie cutter phrase. It's
that's the thing you say to normies when you don't know them. Is like, how you doing?
Yeah, it's like,
and they just be like, good, how are you? And you're like, yeah, it's good. And then the conversation just fucking ends. And you're like, well,
yeah,
okay.
It's like, okay, bye. Yep. Because I've worked in the food industry for a while, and a lot of people there are not exactly the greatest orators. So if you ask them questions like these, and I don't know, I feel like even if they do, like, they're great orators, they just choose not to talk a lot because that's just kind of how they are. So if you ask them like a question, they'll just be like, yeah, or like if you ask them like, how are you doing? It'd be good. How are you? It's so formulaic. I just stop asking. There's no point. I would just rather be like, hey, what's going on? Like, yeah, I would like, I wouldn't ask like I guess boring phrases kind of incite boring responses, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, like now that we're on this topic, like, how would you change that? Like, what's a better way to approach strangers? You know, I'm really thinking about this because, like, I'm pretty sure, yeah, even though I'm complaining about this right now, there's still plenty of instances where I'm talking to someone who's like, yo, what's up? How are you? You know, like, just that type of shit.
Well, generally, creativity or genuine comments will get you pretty far, right? So if you like someone's shirt, you could be like, hey, yeah, it's like, I say, like, you're walking past someone's like, oh, I really like your shirt. Like, like, where'd you get it from? Or like, how much did it cost? And that could potentially start a conversation, right?
Actually, yeah, now I think about it, it makes a lot of sense because a lot of times when you're just, you know, just out and about in public and you have to greet someone like that, like, it's pretty just, you know, run the mill shit. But I'm thinking about all the times I've randomly greeted people at parties, and it's never just, yo, what's up? It's all like, dude, yo, dude, what's up? That's fucking awesome. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's usually like someone's doing something retarded, and I'm gonna go up to them and be like, yo, that shit was retarded. That's awesome. And then we just like clash like fucking beers and just start drinking immediately. But like,
yeah, I mean, compliments will get you instant friends, right?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Holy shit, I've been talking for like 47 minutes. It does not feel like 47 minutes.
Oh, oops. I haven't checked the timer. Oops. All right, we could wrap this up soon. But yeah, creativity is that's a bit hard, but I've been watching a lot of like prank videos, and you just see like when you break down people's barriers, they just respond in a more organic manner.
Yeah.
Because it's just not like, oh, I've been trained to do this my whole life. Hi, how are you? Yes, hi. Instead of like, oh, wow, like this, like you get to see how like they actually react. Which is, it's nice. I like to see people not being just like
fucking zombies.
Yeah, gears in like a machine, right? Cogs in a machine.
It's kind of like what we are though in some way, just because like there's a lot of jobs that are like just you go there and do the most monotonous shit all day. Like
yeah, I mean it's really good for the company, but it's like not good for like a person, right?
Yeah, and arguably if you put that on a massive scale, it's like, oh yeah, that's not good enough for society because it gets people, you know, losing critical thinking and all that shit, becoming more dull
also like
and boring.
Yeah, I mean I know school like it encouraged a lot of critical thinking, but there could also be a lot of instances where it just encourages you to follow.
I feel like it's more of the follow thing because the critical thinking, like high school, like philosophy is not a mandatory class, nor is like interpersonal communication. Like both those are things I feel like they should address in high school because that's some like actually like life useful shit or useful shit for life. I don't know why I worded it that way.
Yeah, I think the curriculum's trying to change, but that stuff is a little trickier to teach than just like math problems, vocab. Yeah, definitely. History, right?
Like, I don't think it lends itself well to like the type of format we have for teaching because like obviously schools are underpaid as fuck, which is part of why we have this more efficient manner of like classrooms and just have like 30 kids and like teachers doing whatever. Yeah, it turns out because teachers, you know, just like kind of in short supply and it's like shitty pay, you know, no one really wants to be a teacher. Like we definitely just need more teachers and just more classes and I guess like smaller classrooms, like because lecture style shit is so fucking good at making people feel left out, like if they don't understand shit, that just like at that point it's just like, okay, why am I even in a lecture? Just do the homework if you actually want to learn something, if you're like that much behind, right?
You just get swallowed by like the mass of people too. No one's gonna ask it's hard to ask a question because you're like, it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, do you want to wrap up this episode then? This has been a crazy ride. It's been all over the place, but
yeah, hopefully this was a good introduction to who we are as people, I guess.
Yeah, I would assume that most episodes will run around this length, but we will have to see. There'll be at least 30 minutes, I think.
That's like kind of the minimum we've set, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, at least 30 minutes. And we will upload every Saturday. I will keep to that. That is a commitment. Every Saturday. Yeah, every Saturday. I don't know what time on Saturday, but every Saturday. Yeah. So yeah, they'll have like probably have like some more obvious topic that we can kind of, you know, wrap our hands around.
Yeah, oddly enough, I feel like the introduction episode's like the hardest one, and then like later
Yeah.
on in future episodes, we're gonna just have like some set topics and just kind of talk about those.
Just like a TV show, right? The pilots are always the hardest.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Also, because like you have to introduce everything, but you also want to tell a story. Yeah, it's kind of tricky.
Now we have to end everything.
Now we must end this episode. Any final thoughts, concerns?
My only final thought about all this is, damn, we were talking about monotony and shit, and now we're talking about scheduled uploads.
Hey, look, all right, we gotta keep this. I know we're berating on structure, but I mean, dude, we gotta do this, man. This is how you get people coming back, right?
And it's just funny because it's like, where's the balance? And the balance is we gotta end it now.
Where's the logic? Alrighty, so I guess that'll be it, huh?
That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this Alighted Cast, episode 1. See you all in the future.